Yo, what's up, everybody? Welcome, welcome, welcome. Thursday night in the shop with Trash Motorsports. How's everybody doing tonight? We're getting set up. As typical, we're always behind. Story of my life behind, but we're getting there. We got the charger on here so we won't get the disruption we had the other night. So that's one good thing to have. Get live chat going on. Hello, everybody. It's Thursday night. Hey, it's nice out right now. Imagine that. It's nice out. Hey, what's going on? Oh, it's going, man. I'm so busy, JB. I got the turbos mocked up there and I got most all the parts. I'm just trying to get everything together. You know how that goes, my friend. We're getting there though, just trying to fit everything up mostly. I mean, trying to decide what I was gonna do. I didn't want to chop it up too much. That was always the goal, was really not chopping it up. So I guess I'm gonna chop. The only thing I'm gonna cut on this, I am going to cut a little bit of the plastic inner fender out. I don't want to cut all the inner fender out, obviously, because I don't want all that crud all over it, because this car does still see a lot of street use.
And JB Little Shops on and out LP94.
Yeah.
Howdy, everybody. Yeah. How you doing?
And it looks like I'll have to cut a little out of the core support because I want to run air filters on this, and I got these little like down struts there where the air filters are going to go, because once again, I drive it on the road. I don't want the thing messing up. So howdy, everybody. We're hanging in there. We're back here live again. Trying to figure this out. Like I said, the little stuff we got the majority of the stuff done. Well, we got the majority of the stuff figured out, put it that way. I've been just trying to take the light out, trying to get the overall final layout down here of how it's going to actually ride, and then we got it from there. I use this here, just this piece of tubing, to kind of mimic where the hood's going to be, so I can get these turbos up a little higher, but not have them too high that everything's in the way, because a little bit higher that I get them should help with the clearance issues with the exhaust anyway, so we'll bring them up a little bit. Air filters is going to be the issue, like I said. I mean, I know I was thinking I could get a couple of these smaller ones. I run a bigger one, but I think these smaller ones would actually, see, that would fit on it for street use. I mean, if we're going racing, I could take them off, because I take the air filter off when I run it down the track anyway. If I just order a couple of these small ones, I could probably just get away with just trimming a little bit off this core support, and this side should fit, because that's how it does fit, and you know, the offset of the motor a little bit. So I think that'll actually work, because that fits. That might be the ticket, like I said, and then because we can always pop them off. So the goal is to get this car in. I don't mind cutting these inner fenders because they're just plastic. And I was thinking of just cutting a little bit of this inside out. That'll give me room to route everything. So that looks about like probably the best spot to put the turbos in, because the higher up, the better they're going to drain. So that's always a plus. And it will make plumbing the stuff a little easier. So let's put that there for now. We'll try to establish where they're both set pretty close to the same plane. So bring this one up a little more. Yeah, this is about where the bottom of my hood sets. So that should give us plenty of room for what we need to do. Okay, I got about almost done. I am touching there. So that's going to come down a little bit on this one.
There it goes.
I want to give about 3/4 of an inch of hood clearance between the hot side and the top. Because like I said, the higher I bring this up, the easier it's going to be to route the exhaust to give me more room off in the inner fenders of what we keep in the inner fender. That should look pretty good there. Let me just snug these down and try to hold them in place for now. I'll just put a couple turns on the V-band here on the turbo, because I'm going to build some strut supports off of the motor here to these flanges. That way they're not carrying away, because we got flex joints now to put in the exhaust as it comes through. So like I said, we got pretty much everything we need. I would say for the most part we got everything we need. Like I said, we'll finalize these once they're done. Just snug them V-bands up. That'll hold them turbos from flopping around a little bit.
Yeah, that'll work.
What is it?
That'll work.
Yeah, I think that's about gonna be about the best bet. As I said, I did pull the hood to give me a little bit of clearance. This is a little higher yet, but we'll get it as we work it in. So I'd say that's gonna be about good. I can get that wrench just clears underneath there and over here. It's a little tighter, but like I said, I can push that down here. I want to try to keep these close because my wastegates have been coming out, so now I cranked that too tight that it doesn't move. So my life, go back and forth. That's all right. This is the mock-up stage, so this is where you make the changes that you need to make before it's permanent. So okay, that looks good. We got about a wrench flat there. Let's see on this side. We're about the same. This one can actually down here. That's pretty close, guys. When you guys get under here, I'm telling you, I show up anywhere and you guys start measuring the height of my turbos. You know, we're not going to be friends anymore. They're close enough. Get that out of the way before I knock it off on my feet. Like I said, it's finally summer-like weather here in Pennsylvania, so that's great. I hope the audio is all right. If it's not, I got another mic I can go grab. I got like a shotgun mic here that should work too. Like I said, I don't know why my wireless mics died. They hardly got used, and for whatever reason, I got a lot of noise with them on.
They all died.
But we're not going to run those because we're not going to make noise. I got some of these 6-inch flex joint couplers to put back in here.
We need to bring it up so they can see better.
They probably can't see, but
I can bring it up.
I think these flex joints, I could probably come out here with a 45 and then put the flex back here. That way I can harden off the turbos of the motor, but because the pipes are going to be down in, so that's going to be the biggest thing.
Where you putting them?
It's fine. This will probably be here because I got 45s coming. So I put this here, and then it'll get down and out. And then the other side, like I said, that's going to be the tricky side. You know what? You got that cord.
I see it.
I do. I'm charging tonight so we don't drop out on you guys.
Yeah, I let the phone die out that a couple weeks ago. It was my fault.
45 this down. See, I honestly, I could probably minimal trim on this side. I think if I bend these brake lines out of the way here, anyway, and I think I can get a pipe down through there, underneath the steering shaft and down around. I'm almost positive I can do that because I got a bunch of elbows and 45s and everything. I got everything I need to get that to work. So I should be able to make that work. That would be my guess. I think it's going to work anyway, guys. Hopefully. Well, it'll work one way or the other. And then we'll have it running underneath. I mean, we're far enough. We got plenty of room between the master cylinder and all this stuff for heat-wise. But everything's going to be wrapped with heat wrap anyway. Even the exhaust coming out from underneath the hood here, we're going to heat wrap. So we're not real concerned about that. We'll get this and tightened up on this V-band. Get this other V-band just snugged up enough that the turbo isn't falling off. And then it'll stay where it's at. These are kind of, in the mock-up, this is kind of where it's going to stay. So,
JB, you've got to run time to drop his transmission.
All right, JB, good luck with that, buddy. Hope everything works out for you. Sometimes they can be easy, sometimes they can be a pain, but I feel you. I've dropped plenty of transmissions in my life, man. Thanks for popping in, though. We appreciate it. Yep, that's it. That will be there, and then I'll have to adjust the compressors first so I can get the oiling right, and then...
That's when you got them things too, right?
What?
Them hoses.
Well, I got longer drain hoses. I'm just going to snug these up real quick, though, because turbine housing is where it needs to be. And that the turbo drains up, comes down, and over to there. We got to center this one now over here. This one, I don't think I ever loosened the back side up, so I'll have to loosen it up. But that's all. And then this is that fitting. That's what I said. I didn't think they sent that big for that fitting. That would have been the fitting.
Oh, that's what you're getting.
Yeah.
Oh.
Yeah, so I didn't think it was going to be a giant box for that. But you never know.
You never know.
Yeah, I've got some boxes and boxes and stuff. I don't think that'll probably just come in a padded envelope. Or a padded cell, whichever.
Yeah.
Whichever we belong in. One or the other. Or the padded cell. But, you know, I mean, it just... spring fever creeps in on you so fast, man. It's been so nice this Thursday night. It's been in literally lower 70s all week. Today it probably got close to 80.
It was 82 degrees.
Was it 82 today? So
Yeah.
there, it's so. But we're gonna suffer. It's only gonna be like 50 next Tuesday.
Monday 50, Tuesday 48. That's
Yeah,
gonna be a
so,
little
I
bit
mean, we
crazy
know-
next week.
You enjoy this time of year in this state. You enjoy the warm weather when it comes because you know, truthfully, that it's not late enough in the year. It's too early in the year yet for it to
On the
be.
core.
Of course.
Hey, it's
Hey, what's
coming
up,
along.
buddy?
Hey, it's coming along.
Yeah, well, like I said, it's coming along. Dude. I haven't really. This live is really the only time I've really had to work on the thing. So it's not like I've been so busy that pretty much when I go live with you guys, I know that I'm live and trying to talk, but I'm trying to wrench while I'm live just because it's the only time. This is really the only couple hours a week that I have to be able to do something. So, but we're fine with that. I get to wrench with you guys, you know what I mean? It gives you guys something to do besides just listening to me yap. You can see me turn some wrenches. So that's all good with that. Everything looks good. That looks like about the final location of where the turbos are going to fall in. They look all right to me. The doctor said it's twins. I got to get another turbo blanket, but these turbos here, before when I had it up here, it was really close to the underside of the hood. Now it's not. So this is my oil fitting for the oil line. I'm probably going to pull, there's a main galley right behind the oil pump. I might just tap into that one and bring both lines up. Shoot out the front.
That
Either
would work, maybe.
Yeah, well,
It should, huh?
it doesn't matter. Back there
Oh,
I
you
can
mean like
keep it
that?
too, but I hate running lines right across the top of the motor.
Oh, yeah, I don't want to do that.
They're braided stainless steel. They're not going anywhere. But just aesthetics wise. Here I go worried about aesthetics. And this ram here, honestly, this intake isn't, judging by the looks of things and shopping around, is later on here in another month or so, we're probably going to get one of them high ram aluminum, the fabricated sheet metal intakes for it. We might as well because it'll look better with it. I mean, well.
Howdy, Dakota.
Dakota,
Howdy.
part, I had a bushing. It's got a little bit of brass showing through to it, but it's going to be fine for your application. I don't see it causing any issues for you, so you'll be getting that here probably within the next day or so. You should have your bushing, buddy.
Alan, of course, he's working a couple hours on my car now. I'm more behind. He's behind, Alan, of course.
Yeah, I know the feeling about being behind.
Working on his car, but he's born behind.
Yeah, I know all about that behind, buddy. My truck's out here. I just fired it up for the first time in a couple of months. My trailer's still out back behind the shop. I tore the deck off of it last, August, but lumber prices were ridiculous last year, so it's going to get a new deck here shortly.
Dakota says right on, appreciate it.
I can put a deck on it for right now. I looked, it's like less than $200 for the wood to put.
He
a new deck on.
appreciates it. Dakota does.
Yeah, I'm glad I helped Dakota. And then you can just use some thick grease. I don't expect you got any trans gel. We use a trans gel, but I got like a lifetime supply of it years ago when I ordered a rebuild kit. I got this green. It's a really thick grease. It's called trans gel though. And basically, you just pack that in there to hold the stuff into place when you put it together. As soon as I seen that bushing, I knew it was your planetary, that it was the bushing off of the back of the planetary there when he pulled that pump. But
You didn't have to send him one?
huh?
You didn't have to send him one?
Yeah.
Oh, you sent him one?
Yeah, I sent him one. Like I said, it's got a little bit of brass shelter, but it's plenty thick. It's gonna be good. You know what I mean? It come out of a used transmission. I don't have any new ones. Unfortunately, you only get those when you buy a new bushing kit for them. But I mean, it's every bit as good as the one I have in my car right now, Dakota. And you know, I haven't killed this tranny yet, so I think it'll be all right. I don't think you're making 600 horsepower yet or so, so I don't see it really giving you a problem. You'll be fine. I wouldn't. That's a lot of work to tear a transmission apart and put it back together, so I wouldn't send you something that I knew wasn't going to work. Other than that, I mean, I'm really proud of you, Dakota, that you took the initiative to take it apart. That's really cool. I'm glad of that because a lot of people, that's what stops them. A lot of people can work on this stuff, but then they get scared and they let that fear stop them. You can't be afraid of it. Just work on it. If it comes apart without beating on
Definitely
it with a
didn't care
hammer.
if it's used.
Huh?
You didn't care if it's
No,
used.
it's good. It measures in depth. It's wide enough. Like I said, it's got a little bit of wear on it because it's out of a a
Okay.
70s model transmission, but it's good. I wouldn't send it to. I wouldn't take the time to send it to you if I thought it wasn't good enough to use.
Definitely didn't care if it was used. I will be better than the one
Yeah,
I have.
it's not deformed like his.
Oh no, his was really deformed.
Yeah, his
I
had a
didn't
bad
even
day.
know what that was. I had to show it to you.
What?
I
Well,
actually
as soon as
watched
I
his
seen it-
video.
As soon as I seen
I
it,
said,
I knew
"Look
what it
at
was.
this."
I was like, "Yep, that's what it is."
'Cause when I watched
That's
his
the
video,
bushing.
I didn't know what it was either.
Yeah, well, you asked me.
Then-
I come over work. Have I seen Dakota's video yet? No, I haven't seen it yet.
And I
And then
said,
I watched it and I seen it. I was like, "Yep, that." And I knew that as soon as he showed this thing. I don't know what it is. I knew what it was. I instantly knew it was because I've had these trannies apart enough times. These Turbo 350s. Like, yeah.
"Yep, you knew what it was."
There's a 3 tang. Now see the one inside, that one sits on the outside of the planetary. Now there's a 4 tab one that goes between that planetary. You pull that cap off and the actual planetaries itself, that sun gear, or that would be the outer
You
gear.
wouldn't know if you ever seen one like that.
Yeah, like I said, it didn't break. What happened is when they pulled the pump out, when they tore that transmission apart, that bushing rides right here in these tabs. So when you tore that out, when they pulled the pump out, when him and his dad pulled the pump out,
Yeah.
that slipped down just enough that it was no longer, the tab wasn't engaged. Now if that one tab engaged, that thing's sticking way up. Now when they put the pump in, put everything together, when they tightened it down, it just crushed it because it wasn't in place. You just take, like I said, take some really thick grease, put it on the whole back side of that, and just stick it in there. And I always stand the transmissions up when I assemble them anyway, especially when you put your band in, because you're going to have a hard time lining it up. So even if you got to go get, a 5-gallon bucket, whatever you got to do, stand that transmission on its tail shaft without the actual rear shaft hitting the ground. Clamp it in a vise, ratchet strap it to the bed of a truck, whatever you got to do. Because you want that case standing straight up and down when you put the guts in it. And it'll help keep some stuff falling out of place. And that's because, see, when you install everything in a 350 turbo, you kind of want to have it like this. Now, what I've done, I know most guys don't have a transmission holding stand. When I put the transmission together, it's in my car. When I put it together, I don't have a transmission stand here. I hooked a ratchet strap from here to here, and I hung it from the ceiling, or you can hang it from your engine hoist. But you want to be careful when you get back in here, because this is
He said okay.
back in here is really where you're going to be careful, because this is where most of your failure point happens in your 350 turbos, where this lugs in here, and that's because it's where your sprag is at in there. Oh, I get the parts here. So as your input shaft goes in there, and then your low reverse. This is your low reverse piston is back in there. Then that'll go in there like that. Then you'll have a planetary. He doesn't have his out that far.
Oh.
I know his isn't turned down that far yet. But then you'll have this planet here goes in. And then that's, obviously there's bushings, but then basically the other and then this will go, your clutches will go in, and then this goes into it. You can pull this out and just make sure your snap ring's intact in here. You don't have to take this low reverse clutch out, assembling these planetaries out. Just pull the sun shell out though, and make sure that snap ring's seated, and that there's a little lug there that needs to be seated. Make sure you didn't knock that loose when you put it together with that bushing out. You can look it up online. There's plenty of videos of how to assemble it. Just go ahead and you'll see what's going on with it, Dakota. But that, like I said, you got my email, you got my number. If you need it, you can call me anytime in the evening when you're working on it, whatever. I'll help you with it any way I can to talk you through it or whatever you need done. But we'll get it all together and working for you though. So. No, they got me all greasy. That's fine though. But he didn't. I got myself all
That's
greasy.
right. You did it yourself.
I did it myself. It ain't Dakota. But no, as I said, I like being able to help. I'm glad I could. I'm glad I knew where it was. But I'm sure it wouldn't have been up long. There's people out there that know far more about these 350 turbos than I do. So
You're a good man.
You know, they know more about them than I do, but I like to share what I have known. At least what I learned ain't going to waste. But I spent a lifetime learning that I like to share. So
He
So I
said,
hope
"You're
I
a
don't-
good man. He'll take the blame." LOL.
And they don't got to take the blame. Nobody got to take blame. You don't learn.
You
Hey,
got
if you
greasy
don't-
on yourself.
If you don't tear something apart, you know you won't learn how to fix it. That's the fundamental of how you learn how to fix stuff is by taking it apart. And we
That's
all
how
have
you
to
learned to
start
do the
somewhere.
automatic transmissions.
Huh?
You did them automatic transmissions in the motorhome first
Yeah,
time. Never
well,
didn't
yeah,
know
my
what
fir-
you was doing.
No, my first automatic was a 727. They were kind of voodoo to me too, but then just one day I was sitting around and I'm like, you know what? This can't be that hard. I can
Yeah.
do motors. We've changed cases. We took everything out of a manual transmission and swapped it to another one. So how hard can an automatic be?
Yeah.
And then, you know, look, I've taken apart front wheel drive transmissions. I took out one for Kevin that apart and welded the differential in that neon. So front wheel drive transmissions, they're the same. They're just, the only thing with the front wheel drive transmissions, everything's all crammed in the same spot.
Yeah.
Your differential, everything's in there, but it's all, don't be afraid. Honestly, other than the bushings and the seals, an automatic transmission isn't real complicated. And remember that one kid that he didn't hang out here, but remember that one he wasn't real smart. It was one of Wally's friends. Remember that one time he was able to take a turbo 350 apart and just change the clutches. They didn't put new seals or new piston
Yeah, they
seals or
didn't do
anything,
that.
but they put new clutches in it. I'm like, if that kid can do it,
You can do
I can do it. Yeah, my 727 still tore apart over here.
Yeah.
But I've been doing differentials and everything else for 20 plus years now. Anybody out there in my area needs a power guide, we got one here because we're going to be going with a 400 turbo on this car. So, thanks to smart people smarter than us about the power levels of transmissions, they explained to us that we'd be better off going with a 400 turbo, so that's what we're going to do. I got to get these wastegates fabbed up. I got a hole saw here, but see, this is one reason why I wanted to get rid of the power steering, is like that hose there. If that power steering hose wasn't there, then this is no big deal putting this wastegate in. I mean, I got to obviously get my radiator hose out of the way, but that's the dumbest thing YLS ever did that, even in the truck. The
Yeah.
outlet's over there, and it runs to the side of the
It
radiator.
don't make sense, does it?
No, I could get an aftermarket radiator, and it would eliminate this hose. It would just come out and go in over there, and then circulate and come out down there, but that, and I did find that other intercooler, so maybe I might just sell my intercooler. I might sell my one in and one out intercooler and buy that one that's got two in and one out. That would make it easier right now until I can find an AC/DC TIG that's reasonable to have here at the shop. So there was a really nice one on for sale. But the problem with it was it was a 3-phase, and we don't have 3-phase power here. It was a 480 volt, or 460 volt rather, and that wouldn't work here because we don't have 3-phase power, and we're not going to put 3-phase power in just to run a welder. We couldn't get a big lathe and stuff, but if I had a lathe, I would get a converter. I don't want to spend $500 on a TIG welder and then have to go out and spend money on a converter, or have 3-phase entrance, all that. It wouldn't be worth it. So it's just, we'll just wait till we find a proper 240 volt one. But they're out there. I keep watching. It's one of the things I keep my eyeball
Who
out
is
for.
that dim light?
Huh?
It dim light.
Yeah, it does. You can touch it and touch the screen and come back out. It should brighten back up. It's just going into rest mode, you know what I mean?
Oh.
It does. But yeah, I mean, other than that, how's everybody else's week going? Everybody's getting their projects settled in, I hope. Our projects, like I said, our projects are doing well. It's just no time. Like I said, my biggest issue is, I gotta spend time. I gotta balance my time with everything because I can't be here all the time working on this, because Tommy and then I got time at home with Amanda. So it's hard to manage all that time and being at work all day, and then to come home and find a couple hours just to tinker with this a little bit. So, but we're getting there. It happens. Everybody has that issue in life. That's part of life. Is balancing your time. But I thought I'd get another turbo blanket like this one. That's good because I did like them to keep a lot of heat off. Now that it's twins, it shouldn't glow red if I happen to end up in a burnout contest because at least it's going to run a lot cooler now. So I shouldn't make it glow red that bad. Hopefully.
Hopefully.
Not. Maybe.
Maybe.
Possibly.
Might go red.
Well, I know this was hot because this fitting.
Oh, yeah.
Let me show you that this fitting here was black anodized. If that tells you how hot I had this turbo, this is the oil feed fitting. This fitting was black anodized, and you can see it cooked the anodize off of it. That fitting was that hot. So if that fitting was that hot, that tells you how hot the turbo housing was.
Yeah, it was pretty hot.
Yeah, probably hotter than it should have been, but hey, it was fun. It looked good when we were doing it.
So.
Be a hero or a zero, we were trying. Yeah, that'll work here. I just wanted to make sure because I can bring this over here and fasten it. Okay. I'm going to take some bar stock and like I said, I'm going to make a brace off at the front of the motor to hold the weight of these turbos. But I'm going to anchor it to the motor. That way the turbos move with the motor and it's not flexing on the exhaust headers. And then I'll use a flex pipe in the actual exhaust. That way things can move without binding up. At least that's the plan. That plan will work. The plan will work.
It should work.
If I change this fitting on here, this might not. Oh man, I tell you what, it will. If I put the 45 fitting on there, I bet that'll work with the hose I got here. I mean, I have more hose, so it's not a big deal. We gotta change it. I don't know if it's pulling out. Oh, that's loose. Wonder what? There's my oil leak. There's my oil leak. My fitting's loose.
Is that why?
Well, it was not a bad oil leak, but I wondered why there was just a little bit of oil down in there. That's why that fitting goes. Now I can take a fitting like this, these 45s.
Yeah.
I'll come off the bottom of the turbo here with the drain. Thread that onto there. Yeah, that thread's on. The only problem is these turbos is getting the dash 10 fitting in there. It's pretty tight with the housing. This one don't hit. The other one was hitting the housing a little bit. Okay.
That one don't?
No, that one don't. Now I can run that down and that'll come down around underneath the radiator hose. Yep. The hose up that well, perfect. That's gonna work. The little drains, they got a nice slope down there to the front of the pan where they're going to the pan. And then I got another fitting, I'll drill the other side of the oil pan, I'll drill and tap it for the other drain off the other turbo, so this oil pan is going to come back off this motor anyway once everything's mocked up. So over here it looks like the only thing I'm going to have to cut is just maybe a couple inches off of this inner fender. Just mostly where it wraps down, so it'll still have the top here to catch the stones coming off of the tires. I just need to cut a little bit of this off. And it's actually worked anyway. And his car might have caught on. Well, no, his car was close to a fire, that's right.
It was.
Yeah, this was close enough to
It
a
was
fire. That's
close
why
enough.
the inner fenders are warped on it from being that close to a house fire.
Yeah.
So, and that's that was really the reason why with the black paint, because all the paint was cooked on this side.
Yeah, it was.
But yeah, them inner fenders are a little warped from the heat anyway, so now I don't have to feel bad when I chalk them out. Well, not chalk them all the way out. But when I cut them out and make more room, I don't feel bad about it. Like I was going to feel bad about it anyway.
Or you just gonna leave some on there.
Yeah, I'm going to leave some in there. I'm going to leave the tops in to catch all the crud that flies off of the tires. And I'm just going to trim out the flat inner. I can even come in later and make out of sheet metal.
Yeah.
Like thin sheet aluminum, I could make inner on the bottom there and just move them out slightly. I got plenty of clearance. I just need to trim them out. So I'll just take a cutoff wheel on the angle grinder, just from the inside, the tire. I'll take the tire off and trim it from the back side. I'll just cut that out of there. That'll give me plenty of room that I need. See, before my one turbo manifold, it was actually part of the part of the turbo manifold was hitting the. No, it was hitting the control arm here when
Oh, control arm.
every once in a while it would tap at the moment. I got that control arm bushing it's gonna go there. It really needs new ones, but I like to just put tubular uppers on it. So the tubular uppers aren't bad. The tubular lowers for the G bodies are the ones that are super duper expensive, but the uppers aren't too bad. See, that other manifold is taller, so that aluminum fabricated intake, so I can bring them oil lines underneath the intake into the turbos with it on there instead of this ugly truck intake and ugly truck fuel rails. We'll just have to see. I gotta see if it's compatible. Well, it said it was truck, so it should be compatible with the short truck injectors because these 150s I got are based on the short truck injectors. And I got Snake Eater Performance 150 pound/hour injectors on it. So they'll work with the truck rail. That truck rail will take, the aftermarket rails that come with that intake, I think they have the -8N on each line. So I can come out of my regulator. Well, I come out of my regulator with a -8 because my regulator's all -8. I come out of the regulator with an 8 to split the 2 6s going into that.
Yeah.
And I'm going to feed it with a 10, so because they're big enough for 10s. So we'll feed it all with a -10 hose. I mean, this isn't the Teflon hose, but this is the size of the hose that we're going to use for fuel line. This is the turbo drain hose here. But basically, you're going to use a -10 from the fuel tank to the fuel pump, and then probably from the fuel pump to the front, and then use a -8 return. And then I got all that -6 Teflon under here. We'll use it for anything. Use it for transmission lines or anything later on. There's probably 20 feet of it under the car. Fuel pressure regulator can be moved because that rail, I can put it up there. I can put this pressure sensor right on the rail, which is good. It'll give me real time pressure, not at the regulator. My fuel speed is right here. I'm gonna get it all cleaned up under here because it's a mess.
Well, yeah.
But like, I need to re-loom all them wires and rewire everything. I need to just pull it all out. Why it's apart now? I'll take it. In reality, it won't take that long to get it back up and going. The fuel pressure regulator, I'm gonna have to move it. So what I'm gonna do is bring it out on this side of the frame and bring it up around and probably mount it up here away from the heat of the turbo and everything back here in the back and the heat of the exhaust. And I thought about, like I said, fender dumping it with loud valves and just have them where the fender dumps come out here, but they're not pushing anything out until the loud valves open at 4 psi. So it would be basically run through exhaust underneath the car until you get up to 4 pounds of boost, and then they'll open.
That'd be crazy.
Okay, so we got that figured out. I got the plug wires figured out. Like I said, I'm probably gonna go with just like I said, a universal plug wires, and I'll run them all like a distributor. I'll run them off each coil and down underneath. I could even remote mount the coil packs here onto the firewall and run 4 plug wires, so they don't need to be up on the valve cover like that. So Hawley gives you plenty of harness here that I can remote mount the coils. That's not a big deal. We'll trim this out here a little bit, and that should give me all my exhaust remedy. Like I said, I should put a cloth. This is a 45. I think this side's easy because there's no steering shaft coming through the firewall on this side. That's the problem. And then I got my relays over there. I got relays over here. I'm gonna, to gain that output, I'm gonna get rid of I'm gonna get rid of one of these because I don't need the fans to come on the stage. I can just have both fans come on at the same time because there's no sense in wasting a Hawley output because you only got 4 ins and 4 outs on a Hawley. There's no sense in wasting the whole output just to turn a fan on and off. That's kind of a waste. We'll cut this and use this V290s. This stuff was the extra I got when I did the last. It's the first time it's been out of the plastic. That'll come off of there. Yeah, I can shorten that coupler if I need to. That's because I got that elbow there. So I can shorten it this way and this way. that one down here, and then come out of it, boom, short, boom, boom, and it'll work. I got the whole plan laid out in my head. It's just making it work. I know what I do got. I got some aluminum. It's in a 45. Well, I'm gonna use the aluminum for exhaust. I mean, you could. I've seen guys, but I don't have a TIG water or all this stuff together. I've seen guys make their exhaust out of aluminum to save some weight. Yeah, see, I think I can come off there with a short pipe. Oh yeah, 45 is gonna go right down through there, perfect. Boom, I come off with about a 4-inch piece. Put my flex coupler, and then I can grab a 45 and shoot it right down in underneath there, perfect. Down in around the frame and miter it off, boom, perfect. It's gonna work better than I thought. This side here would work if it wasn't for that. Was for those brake lines right there, it would get down through there. This is I have to get down underneath the steering shaft, but I'll just put a second V-band there. That way this one will be in a couple pieces. I'll take V-bands, V-band that exhaust all go together over there, so you can take it apart, put it on and off. I won't have like last time taking it apart and have it not fit. And that was the problem we had last time. Oh, I should put some oil dry down there. That power steering box is still leaking. I don't know how it's leaking. It's been leaking since October.
Power steering box leaks?
Yeah, remember it sprung a leak when we was down at the track. That's why I didn't fill it up. We sprung that leak at Sykes and it Jeffers Motor Park. And because we had the race, I just drained it. And it wasn't dripping there because I didn't want to get anything on the track. Well, I might have added a little bit since we got back, maybe, but put some oil dry down on it. Clean up the mess. A little bit of oil dry. Other than that, I don't see any leaks under there. Consider it's been sitting here all since October. There ain't really a lot of puddles underneath it. So.
Few.
Yeah, just this power steering is the only thing I seen that was leaking. And I did put power steering fluid in it when we got home because I wanted to see how bad it was leaking. And say it should have been about dry. We did drain it down there. That's why when baby see Tommy fight the steering wheel, it's don't have power steering. And that little steering wheel was tough. Because the jumpers you come in, you got to come in, turn 90 degrees, back up, do your burnout, and then get on the track. And it's hard without power steering. With a manual, well, with a power steering car, the power steering doesn't work. If you had a manual steer car, it wouldn't be that big a deal. That's my covers. Two of them, okay. While I'm working, I can put these on so they don't keep the crap out of them. Perfect. You see, it keeps
stuff.
Yeah, it keeps the stuff out of the wheels. Out of the billet wheels. I'm gonna put this cover back. The other ones, I figure out which one I'm gonna clock. Probably like that. I would say clock that one that way. This is like it sucks because having mirror image housings would be cool, but it would have made packaging a lot better. And this has got to come out and around. It doesn't matter. However, it'll work. It doesn't really matter which way you turn this housing. It flows the same. So it doesn't matter which way you turn it. It's just all on how you want to do it. Or just something like that. And then I got to tie these two together because these would be my boostrapper line off the turbo. It's all working. Hopefully everybody can hear me all right.
Can you hear him, everybody?
I know I'm kind of mumbling. I'm sorry, guys.
Can you hear him? He said he's mumbling. Just want to know if the audio is working good. The audio working? Hello? Anybody out there? Anybody out there? How's the weather where you're at, Dakota? No, you're in Georgia, I think. Yeah. Maybe it's not working. the audio working? Can you hear me? Testing. Testing 1, 2. Anybody hear me? All right, thank you. Sound Mountain, it's working. That's good. Yeah. Dakota will be back in a few.
What?
Dakota will be back in a
Alright.
few.
Yeah, this thing did actually run normal. It was fine.
Sand Mountain Ballistics.
Sand Mountain Ballistics. Yeah,
It's
what's
working.
happening?
I asked him if the audio is working. He
Yeah.
said it's working.
Okay. Yeah.
I was asking
Cool off a
anybody
little
out
bit
there.
now,
I
but
said, "Is
yeah.
it working, anybody?" And he said, "Yeah."
Yeah, it's working. I just wanted to make sure it was loud enough they could hear. That's all. I was talking, but as I was talking, I was kind of talking like down in the car because I was working
You were just
here.
talking to the car.
No, I wasn't talking in the car. I was just working
Talking
on the car.
to
I was trying to talk. And, yeah, them. I had to get some angled boots just to.
What's happening? Sand Mountain Ballistics wants to know.
No, a whole lot, man. Just trying to get all this, figure out all the fabrication that needs done here. That way we can get everything out, buttoned up. Like I said, we took the car we brought back from Sykeston last year with nothing wrong with it. It ran perfect. Unloaded from the trailer, drove it into the garage, left it set all winter, ran perfect. Alright, come out here and start it up every once in a while. I drained the E85 out, put straight pump gas in it. What?
He thought it was a Pink Floyd song. Is anybody out there?
Who
else?
Hey, you.
I asked him if there's anybody.
But no, it was running completely fine. We put stable and pump gas, got the E85 out of the injectors, ran it like that. I did take it for one ride then. No, I didn't. The last ride I took it when I brought it back from Sykeston, I unloaded off the trailer. I took it for one ride then. Because it was nice out that day. I took it up the road, turned around, come back, pulled it in the garage, and that's where it's been all winter.
Yeah, because you said you was going to park it for the winter.
Yeah, but then it was all together until a month ago that really,
Until you tore it
about a
apart.
month ago, 2
About
months ago,
A
yeah, I
couple
tore it
months
apart.
probably.
I tore a perfectly good running car apart for no reason.
Well, yeah, for a reason. You're putting the other twin on it.
Yeah, I had to get its twin on it.
You had to get the twin on it.
Yeah, but it ran fine the way it
It
was.
did run. But you'll be all right.
It ran perfect.
You'll be fine.
Didn't leave it alone though. That's the problem.
Yeah,
Some people can't leave stuff alone.
I guess some can't.
Work good. If it ain't broke, work on it till it is. One side was just 3 on the one, and they said it was expanded. That's the spot. Yeah, see, these are slip good on both sides, which is nice. It'll make it. Yeah, it's slip good on both sides. Okay.
Sam Ballistic is trying to get my Pontiac ready to no names. This TH400 swap has been whooping me. LOL.
A TH400 swap can be because you know what they need. The crossbow is in a different location on it. You know what I mean? And TH400, it's physically bigger, then you need a different yoke because the TH400 has a 30 spline yoke, and the 350 turbo only has that 27 spline yoke. I mean, so yeah. I mean, honestly, when I put this car together, I had a turbo 400 here, and the reason I didn't use it was for that reason alone, that I knew I could put, this one originally had a turbo 200 in it, went factory. Or it had a turbo 250 in it, factory. Turbo 250C with the lockup. And then that went when the original V6 went, and that would have never lasted behind the V8 anyway. And then when this V8 was, the original other V8 Oldsmobile motor was swapped in here, that it had a 350 turbo behind it. So the reason I put the 350 turbo in here, because that way I could use my drive shaft, my cross member, I didn't have to modify anything. So, and that was one of the reasons why I was going to go with the Power Glide, so I didn't have to modify anything. Because I have a Power Glide here that's the same size, same physical size as the 350 turbo, so I could have swapped it in. But this car is too heavy for a glide, so it's not going to work.
His super hypermatic jetway went out 2 weeks ago. The swap was tougher and cheaper, but
Yeah.
also a headache. LOL.
Yeah, I know it kind of sucks. I feel you. I know what you mean. Like this is a headache right now. I'm looking at this thing going, man, it ran. Why did you fool with it? Because you have to. Because I guess nothing's done, unless it's done right. So we had to do it right. We wanted to make it right anyway.
Yeah.
It is what it is, But your reward will be good when you get your 400 turbo in there. You won't have to fool with it no more. It'll reward you with that. So you'll be all right. It just sucks. You just look at the big picture of when it's done, how much better it'll be. That's how I look at it. I look at it, hey, I'll have this car done. When it's done, it's going to be better. I'm really, right now, I don't want to, I hate the idea of running a manual valve body. That's why I kind of, like I said, hindsight 2020, screwed up. When I did this, I had a 4L80E. I had a two-wheel drive 4L80E here that worked completely fine. And you know me, I did it to be a cheapskate. I didn't want to spend $1,200 on a good converter.
He said, but if he finds a 4-speed, he'll kick that 400 to the curb.
Yeah.
Oh, well.
And then a car, I agree. I like a 4-speed with, I like a manual transmission with a naturally aspirated car. They're way more fun to drive. The only reason we run the automatics really is because, the cost of, there's no factory manual transmission. Well, the CD09 lasts a while, but it's not a factory GM transmission. But there's no real factory transmissions. Well, I think the CD09 is. That's in the Colorado 5-speed or whatever it is. That transmission is a good transmission, but it's still not up to the task of much over 500 horsepower. So that's the problem with that. I wasn't satisfied with this. Like I said, this was running 670s or so, but I knew it could do more. I mean, this is a 6-liter. It should have done better than that. I mean, there's a lot of guys running 6-liters that are making way more power. This is a 6-liter. It's just cam springs, nothing done other than that. Cam springs, injectors, and a turbo. A little bit of spray to help it out of the hole, but that helps loosen the converter up a little bit by hitting it with a little bit of spray because the converter's a little tight in it. But nonetheless, by ET and what this car weighs, we was making between 600 and 650 horsepower is what that estimate comes out to, and that just, to me, that seemed extremely low for a 6-liter with boost. 18 pounds of boost on a 6-liter should be a little bit more power than that. And we know, I'm sure you guys know, you can see these are really super hot, small hot sides. So that was definitely the restriction. These just weren't flowing enough exhaust because you figure I had the whole motor breathing through these little hot sides.
Yeah.
These little .68 AR housings. I have a big 6-liter motor trying to breathe through that, and it just couldn't move enough air through it. The turbo could help get up to it, but all the turbo really done was help it get up to max airflow quicker, that's all. And then it just kind of flatlined. So that was the goal. It was either big single or go double when I was halfway there to a double. So, but when you add it all up, I probably didn't really save anything. The cost of everything going with twins, I could have bought a big single and done the same thing. Made more power probably, but it has twins on it now, so that's all that matters. I guess it's what it is. It's done. It's what needs done
What you
anyway.
got now?
Huh?
I said they got to do now with what you got.
Well, I'm happy with it. I'm not disappointed. I'm glad, When I was young to just go with the big single, that. I kicked that idea around a lot, going with just a big single turbo on it, but ultimately the twins won. I might have had negative peer pressure on there because I might have asked a few subscribers and a few people regulars, and they might have told me to go with twins too. Which, not like I said, I don't regret going with twins. I'm fine with the twins. There's nothing wrong with twins. Just the packaging's a little tight to keep it in a real street car. Like I said, that's another goal of this car. This car has to remain street legal. I gotta still be able to drive it, or it wouldn't be no fun.
No.
I wouldn't be able to drive it, and I didn't want to cut the car up. That was another part of it was not to not destroy the car. Car's been around. I said Hillary's 25.
Yeah.
So this car has been around at least 27 years. 26, 27 years. And I want to say, I know 100% you had this car in the summer of 97. Because the summer of 97, I had my 80, or that 81 I had.
And you got that after you got that.
Yeah, you got this car first, and then I bought the 81 off of it with the small block Chevy in it. So I know 100% you've had this since the summer of 87. This car has been family car, so. And then it's set from 2000. It's set from the summer of 2000 when the transmission broke until 2016. We started talking about doing something to it in 2014 because Duff was still alive when we were planning on doing this.
Yeah.
Duff passed away in 2014. And then I got it out, first drove it the summer of 2018. It was the first time I drove it around naturally aspirated that summer. And then we put nitrous on it. And then, I put the can of nitrous on it. I had the motor in 2018. I didn't drive it 2018. 2019 is when that's when we got them to reissue the title because they took it out of the system. That was 2019.
Yeah, they took it out of the system.
2019, I drove about 2 months naturally aspirated. Then I put the Elgin cam in it, which is a 228, 230 at 50 thousandths, and it's 580 lift. I put that cam in it, packed 1218 sprigs, and I got just that cheap Nitrous Express mainline kit to put on it, which is basically just a single nozzle, capable of like 150 or 200 horsepower shot. So we put that on here. I played it a little bit at the track, and every time, like I said, not only that, it's just learning your car. That's what I was telling people in there too. They learn their car. Because look how many times we went to the track and I was picking up a second to pass just because I was learning how to drive the car.
Yeah.
And this car's still got a lot in it because sometimes it comes up on boost so quick, I hit the rev limiter before I could shift. But I should have went with the 4L80 because then I could have ran a trans brake with an automatic valve body, because there's a valve body for a 4L80 that you can put in drive and it will still shift itself, have overdrive, but you still have your trans brake that you can leave in first or second on the one. I think Jake's brake lets you leave on first and second, but I don't want to run the electronic transmission as now, because one thing, I bought the Holly without the transmission controls because I was never planning on running it. So we have that, but the fact of the matter is, and the Turbo 400, I just got to get used to shifting it all the time. That's what I don't want to, but that's what I'm stuck doing now. So there's no going back now. I'm not gonna, because I got the converter and everything for it. There's no sense in changing it now.
See, I'm ballistic now. How much horsepower is it pushing?
Like I said, our estimate by ET, the car weighs close to 3,500 pounds. You know, it's been 670 by the Wallace horsepower calculator. That comes out around 650 horsepower with the single turbo. So that's what we know. Like I said, I know the car is extremely heavy. It's a full interior car. It usually got speakers in the trunk. So we know that's where we're at. And we know realistically the amount of boost on a 6-liter motor should be at least, we're about 200 horsepower shy of where we should probably be. And that's what we're probably, this twin setup, we want to be in 800 to 1,000 is what we're shooting for. And then if everything goes right, then maybe next winter I'll build a 408 stroker for it, and then we'll really turn it up. And we'll get to like our 12 to 1,500. But we want to do that and keep it street legal, so we can still take it and do ice cream, get ice cream and do burnouts. So
yeah,
And that's like I said, that's why the car hasn't been caged yet or, chopped up because it is a street car. I mean, in the summertime I drive this car to work every day.
Yeah, every day.
I did all summer long. I drove it to work 2 years in a row that it's been there every day to work. I drive it. And plus we took it to Sykes and we drove it to Lambert's and we'll do it, again. Next time we're down there, we'll drive it to Lambert's again. And I want to be able to drive it. I like I said, get it set up. I like taking on some dragon drives once I get everything. But it's just getting it dialed in, getting everything done. Hopefully once everything gets started out, we can do better. Right now it's just been really hectic. I've been running the tow truck, and that takes a lot of your time. That's a 6-day-a-week ordeal, 9 hours a day driving a tow truck. So
why'd you take that off?
Huh?
Why'd you take that off?
Because I'm gonna get ready to draw out for my wastegates. I said that right now it's put it together, take it apart, put it together, take it apart. It's in that fabrication stage right now.
Oh.
This here. I gotta take a hole saw and drill a hole in these. I gotta drill holes in these elbows where the turbos go. That way I can put my wastegates on them. I gotta weld my stubs for my wastegates and get my wastegates where I want them. I have the pipe here for it somewhere, and I get my wastegates in there.
I've been thinking about building either a 467 or a 488 Pontiac stroker motor.
Oh, I love Pontiacs, but
That's
I mean,
Mountain Ballistics.
yeah, I do love Pontiacs. Pontiacs are just some of the coolest motors. I always like to raise, like spider intake. How the intake set up off the runners set up off at the top of the block with the valley pan underneath it. That was always cool stuff. I always remember like that 78 Grand Prix you had. That was a cool car. We've always had G bodies. I fell in love with the G body platform when he had that Malibu, the one that dude hit that time going out fishing, that 80 Malibu, and that only was a 6-cylinder car, but that's where that, and then you had that beautiful 80 Monte Carlo. Remember that? Who was it? Someone argued. Remember?
Yeah.
Remember the argument? Oh, I can't remember who it was. Remember? Argued up and down. No, I remember. He was arguing with you because we were saying about the body change. Remember? 78 to 80.
Yeah.
Was that body style, and they were arguing with you, and you saying that it wasn't, remember? And we're like, no, 81 to 87 is the other body style. That these 78 to 80s are unique, because they're a G body, but they're kind of A body, it's weird.
Slant Daily Garage.
Hey, what's
going
happening?
on, man?
Oh, not much, man.
How's the race car?
Yeah, we're working on it. Street car. I was checking out your project, man. His race car is awesome. He's putting together. It's his old race car, and he's getting it back out.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, he was smack talking some 28-10-5 guys, but no, he's really cool. And smack talking's part of it. We love it. I love the smack talk. He said though that how could I quit? He was putting something together, and he was coming for us 28-10-5 guys.
Oh.
Which he's already said he's been faster than this has ever been. So, but hey, no, I'm grateful. Thanks a lot. Your advice with the Turbo 400 worked out, man. I listen to you, Shane, more than anybody because you know your stuff, and you really helped me. I anguished over what transmission to run, and just a little bit of talking with you about running the 400, you really helped. And even if you didn't line up and beat me in, it's worth it. Shane's a good guy. I hung out with Shane and Dallas and them when we was in Sykes. Great people, man. Just, I can't say enough about it. They're good people. And willing to help. These are guys, he works, for a major manufacturer,
He said thanks, man. That's what we're here for.
Oh, yeah, you're great, man.
Dakota, not to worry, I'm back.
Hey,
I was just wondering what happened to him.
Dakota ain't going nowhere. Yeah.
Yeah,
I'm funny, Dakota don't come in with all these different names though. He comes in under David Allen Co. He's got all this stuff. He's country boy.
Hi, Pat.
Usually Dakota gets timed out on the other guys. Hey Pat, Dakota gets timed out on the other ones, and he'll come back as Dave Co. He's got all these different names. I hope he subscribed to me with all of them. Just saying.
Oh, I watch his videos.
Yeah, I like helping Dakota, and he's in Pontiacs. I know he's putting the Camaro together, but I'm sorry. The Trans Am
I got many
Firebird.
accounts, he says.
No,
Which
well, shh, no. The
You
Trans,
only got one.
Yeah, I only got one.
Time out.
First
That's
time
the only
out.
one you got, buddy.
yeah.
That's the only one.
You know, like we only run our cars in Mexico too, so
Yeah.
that's fine. You're fine to go. Well, what I was saying though with that cat is the Trans Am body looks so much better than the Camaro. The Camaro F bodies are good. Don't get me wrong, because I've had Camaros, but a side by side comparison, it doesn't matter. First gen, second gen, third gen,
John Wilburn.
fourth gen. What's up, John? Shane's gonna put together, so I'm gonna come down here and beat us all, but it's all good. It don't matter. We're friends. Friends can take a beat from another friend. Our generation, anyway. Our feelers don't get hurt. Shane's putting together a beast. Better bring my A game. That's all I was saying. But it ain't
Yeah,
a competition.
Trans Am's always look better.
What is it?
Dakota
Yeah.
said Trans Am's always
Yeah,
look
they just
better.
got nicer body lines. They do.
But Camaros, you can get away cheaper.
Yeah, you can, but like the body lines, like the quarter panels on even on fourth gens, that fourth gen Camaro I picked up. I wish so bad that was a Trans Am or a Firebird
Oh,
versus
that
the
one you
Camaro,
picked up, yeah.
because the nose looks better, the quarter's got a nice bulge to them. You know what I mean? It's fine. It's a good looking car. But I wish so bad GM would have kept Pontiac and dropped Buick, because I would have loved to see when they come out with the fifth generation Camaro. Could you see them come out with a fifth generation Trans Am and done like a Bandit tribute? That would have been
Yeah,
so
I like
awesome.
I like Trans Am.
I think there was an aftermarket company that was taking Camaros and making them into Trans Ams, you know what I mean? But they're not real off the assembly line GM Trans Am, you know what I mean? Someone bought the rights to it or whatever to manufacture.
Yeah, I like them cars.
Yep. And Burt was all of our hero growing up. We all wanted to be Burt Reynolds in all of his movies.
Yeah.
Not only Smokey and the Bandit, you know what I mean? And not only Cannonball Run, and Gator McCluskey and White Lightning.
Made some good movies.
Yep. I was probably growing up because I'm a little bit too young for John Wayne, though I do respect John Wayne. John Wayne was a good dude. John Wayne was awesome. Nothing but love John Wayne. But my actor's favorite growing up, honestly, was like...
He said he didn't need one. He'd stick with the real Trans Am Dakota.
Yeah. No, my favorite actors growing up, like I said, Burt Reynolds, Clint Eastwood.
Clint Eastwood.
You know, and Sylvester Stallone when he was, younger stuff. Like everybody likes Rambo. Rambo's a situation when you just want to be left alone and people won't leave you alone.
Yeah.
Kind of like what people's doing to us now. We just want to be left alone. We just want to play with our hot rods and be left alone. We don't care what you do when you go home. We don't care what you do in your house. Don't care any of that. I don't want to see it. Don't push it on me. And let me work on my hot rod. You do you. I do hot rods.
Yeah.
But instead everything has to be forced. You got to agree with it.
There's a blow. He said there's a brown 71 LTD 4-door for sale. A few hours away for $2,000 the best offer.
Oh, that would be cool.
It was close. If it was close, he'd buy it.
Heck yeah, I can see that.
Just like the Gator.
Yeah, I can see that with a big block forward at it, a 4-speed coming up
That's
there with a
the
bench
Coyote.
speed. Yeah, that'd be cool. Them old full sizes were.
How's it going, Schultz? It's about time you get your buns on here.
Yeah, he said next Wednesday.
How's it going?
Next Wednesday.
How'd you like the weather today, Schultz?
Hey man, look, I got sun. I'm already tan.
He's tanning already, Schultz.
I thought I was gonna burn yesterday because I was out in the sun all day.
You did. Your neck was, but it's brown.
Yeah,
now.
I don't really burn unless I get really scorched. I don't really burn that bad. So I
He's
think
out in the
it's
garage
cold.
working on the quads.
Oh yeah.
Hi, Tommy.
Should be working on some hot rods, but
Yeah, Schultz, why don't you get a hot rod built?
I've been telling you, 2-wheel drive Ranger. There's a guy
That
on
Ranger.
here. He's one of us. There's a guy, Hunter, he's one of the no-name 500 guys. He has a two-wheel drive Ranger with an LS turbo in it. It's a bad piece. He was down there. He was.
Taylor put a liner in today.
Yeah.
Wow.
You won't be able to stretch one Monday though. It's 45
Monday and
degrees.
Tuesday you won't be able to stretch it.
Wednesday's gonna
48.
warm back up. Yeah.
No, I
Warmer,
think it's
yeah,
like a little. I don't know what
Yeah.
Wednesday is. I know Monday and Tuesday 50 and 40.
Yeah, I know it's gonna be cold Monday, but
Dakota. Y'all will see the video.
yeah. We
Oh
don't
wait a
know.
minute, I missed one, didn't I?
I was gonna
This
say.
weekend I'm going to hit some jumps and the Trans Am. I'm going to get a dozen feet of air.
Oh no. Well,
We'll see some videos.
it was a nice Trans Am. Dakota,
How?
that was just TV, bud. You can't really jump bridges.
How
Yeah.
how difficult is it to change the clutch on the Honda?
If you stay out of my way, I could probably change it in 2 hours. They're not hard because I know I could change the timing belt
Don't you
and the
wanna
head
see that
gaskets in
airborne?
a couple hours.
I was gonna say, what if I change it for a video?
Yeah, well, you're gonna work on the monkey bike for video too.
Tommy's going to change
Just-
the clutch in his Honda.
We gotta
We're
measure
gonna video him.
if my intercooler here will fit your car, then you can have it for your build because I'm gonna have to get another intercooler.
We should ask the AI how to change the clutch.
It's easy. It's simple, Tommy. Jack it up, pull the wheels off, pull the axles.
You gotta pull the wheels and axles off.
Yeah, because it's front wheel drive.
Yeah, it's front wheel drive, Tommy. It ain't hard.
No, they're easy. That's the cool thing about your generation Honda. They're easy to work on. Everything's easy. It's a good car to learn on because everything's easy to work on.
Do we have an owner's manual for it? Or
Yeah.
a
A repair manual? No.
Repair manual?
No, you don't need a repair manual. You need a 10 millimeter. You need an 8 millimeter, 10 millimeter, 12 millimeter, a 14 millimeter,
What's
a
this?
17, a 19, and what? Yeah, you just time out.
There's a problem with the server.
I timed out.
It's bad.
There. Right, that'll tell you how
Your
to think.
They say your brain is AI.
Yeah.
That's what you'll say.
Mm,
You know,
That's that one.
there's one with the truck pickup.
Here's the Ford engine book. Ford engine.
Yeah, I don't have a Ford.
You don't want a Ford, do
You
you?
have one of those.
Suzuki.
You got a
We
Suzuki,
need to
we gotta
upload this
get it
book to
home.
an AI.
Here's Ford Ranger Explorer manual.
We gotta get that Samurai yours home.
Factory links. I used to have Escort links to Mini Cooper. But didn't I tell you, Tommy? You thought I was joking. I said they was out in the garage. I told him last night to come out and get the manual. They was out in a box that said dirt bag.
It
See?
does say dirt bag.
Dirt bag. That's right at home in White Trash Motorsports Shop. In the box that says dirt bag.
You done.
They were dirt bags too. We're scumbags.
Now what's that book for?
This is the one I told Tommy come out and get the time I have to change the fender on my truck.
Oh.
It tells you that way, you know, he can be a good son, and he can go to the junkyard and get me them 2 fenders.
I thought I'm not allowed in the junkyard.
You are too.
I thought
With
you had.
me? I can take him in
You
there.
know, he's old enough to drive. He can go in.
You're old enough to drive. You should go
I
out
thought
the way.
they made you.
Well, that one day they asked me how old he was, and he's like, he like stunned in this when they asked him his birthday. They knew it, you know. But then he'd come in, you know.
You just tell him you're 18.
Yeah, you just add 2 years to your birthday.
Remove 2 years.
Well, a year and a half now. You know, you got a year and a couple months, but it's just easy to add to 2 years. Put a line like door removal right here. Disconnect battery. Driver's door removed all usable hardware, trim glass.
Diane's already disconnected.
Remove upper and lower hinge access hole covers or plates. Mark the location of hinges inside the cab. Remove the lower side kick panel door. Remove door harness. You know, it tells you how to take the door off.
Yeah.
Over here, I think it tells you how to take the fender off. So that's all I asked you to do. Go get me 2 fenders and a door.
Always had a fake birthday. Enjoy it now. I can't get away with it anymore.
Yeah.
Oh, sure.
Yeah, you know, always have a fake birthday and an alias that you gotta give real quick. You know what I mean? You gotta have an alias, that way if somebody asks you your name, you know, you can just tell them another name. Like I said, that was funny one day. We was just got done hot rodding around the neighborhood. We was all like 16, 17. I'm standing there talking to my friend George, you know what I mean? Cop rolls up. He says, hey, he says, you guys know a Sam Thornton? I'm like, no. And he asked George, and George's like, no, I don't know him either. We heard about him. We don't like, you know, heard these, you know. And cop's like, oh, all right, and rolled off. You know, he didn't ask for ID, so. And I
See,
knew
then
he
you
was.
could.
He was someone called the cops and said I was burning a terror, you know, out on the main road.
That's why they.
Crybabies, yeah.
Could
He
be
was
burning
calling
terror.
cops because I was spinning tire out on the main road. It wasn't like I was in a
Oh,
neighborhood
well.
or anything.
That's funny. Dakota said LOL.
Yeah, well, you got to. You got to be smooth about it real quick. Like I said, if you got to think, hey, what's your name? Always have that alias ready. Always have another name that you got to give somebody, even if it's just someone. What if it's some crazy girl you don't want her to know who you really are? Your name? Oh,
Yeah.
I'm James, you know, or George, or Mike. You know, I mean,
John.
John. Have it where it comes out smooth, though. You know, it just is yours.
John Smith.
And that's why I said, you know, it's always easy to use, or, you know, I mean, now you can't, but, you know, in a couple years, you know, because I mean, you can use your sister, use a birthday that you're going to remember. To put you
Dakota's,
over.
mine's David.
Yeah.
David Coe.
Yeah, I know his is David Coe.
That's funny. So, who are you gonna be? Alan Jackson?
I need an internet alias. Like a screen name, you know, in all the
Yeah.
movies.
Who ended up with it?
Yeah,
How Ron Online has a screen name,
yeah,
and that becomes their alias forever.
yeah.
No,
Mike Johnson. Mike Johnson or something, you know, he just comes with something ridiculous. But no, I mean, they're all good, it's fine. Every time I get wood out of that truck, I got my ramps out today.
Well, I
Every time
mean,
touch wood, I
You
get-
can pretty much just say John Smith in any birthday, and it's likely to be a real person.
Yeah, I know
It's
that,
confident,
but you
man.
don't want to get too because you want it to be believable.
Yeah.
But that day at the junkyard, though, he said about his birthday.
I didn't go,
You had to think, though. You paused. Not like this. Tell them when they ask you. I said, tell me your birthday's 2004.
I didn't pause. I just said, you were the one who paused because you were expecting me to say something else, and I was like, something 2003.
I was expecting the answer right. You know, but you would like,
Just say your birthday's 2004.
you know, I knew they knew. They knew he wasn't that day. You know, whatever. It's you pull it. It's not like it.
It ain't like, I mean, he's old enough to go to the junkyard. He ain't
He's
no
there with
baby.
me. Yeah, you're there. That's what I understand. Oh, you gotta be 18 in your yard. What if you're 16 to drive? I used to go to junkyards when I was 16, 17.
Yeah, he'll be 17 in a couple
If you're
months.
driving a car, yeah, you should be allowed to go in and buy parts. You're driving a car.
June, you'll be 17.
How you gonna not be able to drive a car, you know, or buy parts? Oh yeah, okay, sorry, sir. You
MC Loving.
huh?
MC Loving.
McLovin.
Yeah, McLovin.
Yeah.
McLovin. That's from Superbad, the movie.
That's
Where he got the fake ID. It said McLovin, and they got all mad. They're like, no one's gonna believe her. McLovin. That's what I call Dakota. That's it.
No, that's what Schultz says.
Yeah. McLovin.
Dakota is David.
Yeah, he's
Coe.
Dave Coe.
Dave Coe.
David Allen Coe.
He picked a good name.
Yeah. Yeah, well, I'd say he's a Georgia boy, so he knows that old Coe stuff.
I like David Allen Coe.
Huh?
I like that.
Yeah, we all do.
Born in Hawaii.
Huh?
Born in Hawaii.
Dakota.
We lives in Georgia,
He had question marks behind it.
Huh?
He had question marks behind it.
I think he was talking about McLovin, born in
Oh,
Hawaii.
yeah. Oh, yeah, in the movie. Yeah, I think it was a Hawaii movie. It was a black man or something, too, and a white skinny white stripy glasses.
John
This one-
says hello, everyone.
Millworm.
Yeah, is it? John.
Millworm. John.
Yeah, John Wilbur.
No.
Oh.
Millworm.
Oh.
Whatever it is.
Oh.
Hello, everybody.
Hello. There's John Wilbur. John
Tony?
Wilbur was on Tony. You know, John lives right down there by Bluefield. He's
Huh.
familiar. He's familiar with the phenomenon of Bluefield, Virginia, and West Virginia.
Huh.
That you have, two towns with the same name that share the same border. So depending on what side of town you're in, if you're in Bluefield, West Virginia, or Bluefield, Virginia.
Yeah.
If you're on the north end of town, you're in
It's
Bluefield.
like Kansas City.
Yeah, with Missouri.
Because
Yeah.
there's
It's
Kansas
John.
City, Kansas, and Kansas City,
Yeah.
Missouri.
He knows the Bluefield area. It's funny with that with John. We've traveled a lot of the same roads and ate a lot of dirt long before
Yeah.
knowing each other.
McLovin was born in Hawaii, also like 27 years old.
Yeah. Yeah.
I
it's-
simply give no name.
That was back. So
Yeah. Well, yeah.
Mm.
Well, like I said, also the alias can come in handy with other people, not just dealing with the law. It can
Yeah.
come in with anything.
Well, nowadays, if you give them the wrong name, they'll have you arrested.
Yeah, well, if you see, like, if you're talking to a girl, you don't want, her boyfriend to know, who you were, because he might come after you. So, I don't know. I was talking.
Or you're on the wrong side of Uniontown.
Huh?
Or you're on the wrong side of Uniontown.
I resemble that compliment. I had to go do 2 tollaways on the wrong side of Uniontown today. That's 2 of us.
There is someone named John Wilbur.
Huh?
John Wilbur. We know who.
Yeah,
he
we
Yeah.
know John
But
Wilbur.
this dude here said he put Wilbur in question mark. Like,
I don't think he
maybe
knows
wants
John
to know
Wilburn.
who he is.
John Wilburn's pretty much him and Dallas and Buzz at Roadkill Customs. They pretty much come up with the whole No Name Nationals.
Yeah.
John and Dallas and Buzz, they're probably responsible for all these channels that made their numbers. If it wasn't for them, they motivated hundreds of people to go for it. So, the dude John Wilbur is. I'm sorry we mistaken for somebody. We're glad he's here. Thanks for watching. I would have glanced at him. It's like that. If his name's that close, I would probably glance and thought it was Wilbur too. But we didn't mean no disrespect by him. John's a really good dude. So, actually, to be
I'm fixing your camera
called
real
John,
quick.
but we don't know.
I'm fixing your camera real quick. It's pointed too far down.
This is no name what?
The
No
No
Name
Name
Nationals.
Nationals.
There you go. If I turn it
They're
sideways,
hashtagged all over the internet, all over YouTube. No Name Nationals. You must have just stumbled in. That's
let's
fine.
see.
You found us. That's cool.
No
There
name
you
National
go.
Schultz. He
I
said.
fixed your camera.
The No
What is
Name
this?
Nationals.
M-I-L-W-O-R-M.
Huh?
Yeah.
M-I-L-W-O-R-M.
Yeah.
Has I
That's
pronounced
cool,
it
man.
right?
Yeah, Millworm. That's fine. Thanks for stopping in, John. We appreciate it, buddy. We let everybody in here. We don't care. If you got cars on your brain,
Packer
your
man?
oil in your blood,
Packer.
you're welcome here.
He's a Packard man. LOL.
Packards. What's Packards? And there's Studebaker, Nash.
What?
Studebaker is cool. There's a couple people that have pretty cool Studebaker.
Pat Mac says, I just got my 14-year-old a shirt with McLovin's ID on it. My kid said, who's that?
Yeah. I know, Pat. They're a lost generation, bud.
I mean, like, if I showed any of my friends my car, it's like, here, they would look at the manual shifter in the middle and be like, what's this?
Which I don't understand.
What do you mean there's 3 pedals?
But they didn't grow up. Their parents didn't expose them to manuals growing up.
No.
I mean, you look, we've always had manuals. We always had trackers, daily drivers. We always had manual transmissions. And the
Dakota
Mustang-
says it's time to show him the movie.
Yeah, we had the Mustang for all that time, and with the 5-speed in it, we had the trackers. There ended up putting an MV 3500 in the Tahoe, and so we had a Tahoe with a manual transmission in it.
Yeah, you put him in.
Well, I mean, there was like this one study that said in 2021, only 25% of 16-year-olds went to go get their license.
Yeah, well,
It's not that they couldn't pass, it's only that 25% of them wanted to actually go and get it.
well, I don't understand why you want, to us,
25%.
oh, that's sad. See, my generation, Tommy, my generation, it represented freedom to get your driver's license. You can come over on camera, but it represented freedom. You got your driver's license, you
Go
were
over
free.
there today.
You know what I mean? That's the difference. Why your friends don't want to be free?
I guess not. They don't want to get their license. They said it's too scary to drive. They don't want to get in an accident.
Well, if you're careful, and you guys watch the other drivers. I
And
mean,
it's just dangerous to ride with somebody,
it is dangerous.
Don't ride with their mom or their dad, though.
I don't understand.
Or ride a school bus.
Or they say like they don't want to hit someone and live with it forever, that, what they did.
Well, maybe they won't.
Well, if it wasn't on purpose, then why should it bother you anyway? I mean, I understand you don't want to do it, but you can't live that way. You can't live in fear. What is wrong with these
Step away
kids?
for a few minutes.
Dwayne stepping
I'll
away.
let you.
Yeah.
Dakota says don't get in an accident.
What's wrong with these kids?
Oh no.
That's what I
Yeah.
said. I can't understand
Alright,
these kids with
Chelsea.
no motivation, honestly. I could not wait. Told me when I was 13. When I was
And
12.
if you do drive away, don't do that.
Yeah. When I was 12, when I was 13, all I could think of was cars. I couldn't wait to turn 16. I couldn't wait. And I always went places I don't understand now. Like, I never had to ask for a ride to go somewhere. Before I had driver's license, if I wanted to go somewhere, I'd ride my bike. I'd walk. I'd ride a skateboard. I'd always go to see my friends. I didn't need a ride. I'd get there.
He don't like you playing back.
I don't know, that's Gen Z.
I used to get up.
Well, I can't even say you can't say Gen Z in general because my sister is technically Gen Z.
Yeah. Well, your sister, though. But here's the thing, Tommy. I used to get up, okay? It's 14 miles from Cornersville to Uniontown. Well, it's 12, but from our house to Joby's, it's 14 miles, okay?
Hold this, so you have to read, or can you read it?
I used to get up in the morning or in the afternoon, and I had friends in Uniontown. I would ride my bicycle 10 or 12 miles to go hang out with my friends. I didn't call them and ask them, hey, can you get your mom or your dad to, come pick me up, or, or, hey, I'll get my dad to take me or whatever. I just got up, got on my bike and went. That's just how we did it. I always did that, especially like that, I can remember 14, 15 years old, you would walk 5 miles to go to a girl from school. You'd walk 5 miles to go to her house just to say hey, because you knew you couldn't hang around. Hi, I just come over to say hi. What are you doing now? Oh, I'll walk back home.
In this age, if you're walking out alone as a youngin', the cops are going to harass you.
No,
Now.
they're
You're like,
not.
you're suspicious.
No, they're not.
What are you doing? No, yeah, they will.
No, they're not going to bother you, Tommy. Honestly, kids were always suspicious and up to stuff. Yeah. But no, you guys just need more motivation. Honestly. The nice thing I couldn't wait today. I used to sit and dream about just cars. I'd draw cars in school, you know what I mean? Like I said, from probably, I don't even know, 12 years old, at least 12. Yeah, 12, from the time I was 12 years old until I was 16, there was only 2 things in the world that mattered. Cars and girls. That's it. Nothing else. And they were intertwined because if you had a car, then you could pick up girls easier because you had a car. So that was it. There was nothing else. Who cares about anything else?
And now this age is you gotta go to college. You can't drive your car unless you have this and this and this, and
It didn't even
or
matter.
you can't walk out after a certain hour, and you need all these things on your bike to be able to ride it, or it's illegal. And
They're not going to bother you. Tommy.
no,
When we got bicycles, when we were kids and we got bicycles, When we finally found a bike, a used bike, or a bike that we could ride, the first thing we did is take all the reflectors off of it. Because safety's stupid. So we took the reflectors off. You know? Because you gotta have more sense. You could be out without getting run over. If you're on a bicycle.
Well, people don't. That's why they need hacks. People don't have sense anymore. I was going down. What was that road by Honey Bear? And there's someone on a bike, and they were wearing all black clothes out at night. And the only reason I was able to slow down and see them is because I seen the reflection shine off one of their tires.
Okay, well that's
Other than that, they were riding in the road at night, no lights, all black clothing on a bike.
I mean, I've been out in dark all black, but you know what you do when you're out in the dark and you're in black like that, you're blending in? It's your responsibility
Not
to
to
watch
get
for the
hit.
cars. Yeah, you watch not to get hit. You know?
Yeah.
Assume that every
But people
car,
don't do that
Hey,
anymore.
if I'm walking to this day, if I'm walking somewhere, I'm going to walk to where I can see the traffic. I'm going to walk opposite of the traffic, so the traffic's coming at me. Why? If I see this car getting whacked, I'm going to get behind a pole, I'm going to get behind a tree, I'm going to get behind the guardrail, I'm going to get out of the way. I don't trust anything. Every time I pass a car on the road, I'm ready to take action because, hey, what if this guy comes over into my lane?
Dakota says should have bumped him off the road.
Yeah. Yeah, taught him a lesson. You're right, Dakota. If he had a big jacked up square body, you could just clipped him with the mirror right top of the head. Bam. He'll learn next time to make sure wear something shiny.
Well, say you get closer to them, then your headlights shines on them, and then you see them, and your ABS kicking in to get your vehicle slowed down, and then they'll throw their hands up and look at you like you did something
But
wrong.
it don't matter. You cannot live your life because of them people. That's why I don't give a
Pat
crap.
Max is yup, and now that's illegal.
Yeah, but you can't not live your life though, you know, because someone
Yeah.
else might. You know, you tell your friends.
I mean, it's hard to live your life now because of other people's stupidity, and they have to make new rules and rules and rules because people are stupid.
And that's why you stay out in the country. That's why I say about staying out of the cities.
It's not even in the cities; it's just in general.
But the further you get away from the city, the little bit better it gets.
Then you're further away from people.
But that's a good thing. You only need to
Y'all have ABS.
Yeah, there you go. Yeah. ABS is for people who don't have enough sense to let go of the brake pedal while you steer. You don't need it. It increases stopping distance on a wet road because it's pumping the brake instead of applying full pressure. There's times where I've needed to lock my wheels to scrub off more speed quicker. But I know that I can lock the wheels until I start to lose control. You let off of the brakes, you regain control, and it's back into it again. It's just what it is. You can't live in a what if world. You have to get out there and do things.
Yeah, but like, again, people's stupidity, and
I
now
don't care. I'm not, but I'm gonna live my life. I don't care how stupid people are. I'm not gonna let that keep me from living my life.
You know, with like in school and like the tech, all the shops you can do, all the shops, and there's fun shops. And like when my sister is in school, and now half of them they've changed so many things, it's just not even worth it to go because people are stupid, done stupid things, got hurt. And then their parents complaining to school, "Oh, how'd you let my baby get hurt like that?" And now they had to change it.
Helicopter parents is a lot of the problem because kids are gonna get bumps. They're gonna get bumps. They're gonna get bruises. They're gonna walk it off.
You know, they're going to an automotive or a welding shop, and they come home with grease or something. And they're like, "Oh, how could the school let this happen to you?"
And what have I always done, honestly? The Jewish is how I've always raised you. If you're sick, give it 3 days to see if it improves. If it improves in 3 days, then you're fine. How many times you run, how many times I take you to the doctor or something because you were sick and you're like, you can remember?
Not a lot.
Maybe once or twice. Yeah, because you give it a couple
And then you
days.
have like,
And what do I always tell you emergency-wise? No, but what do I tell you? If there's not a bone sticking out and you can control the bleeding, it's not an emergency. We'll get you medical attention, but it's not an emergency. It's just the way it is. You know what I mean? Look when I got burnt, what I do. I wasn't there screaming and panicking. I just, hey, I'm burned. I need to go to the hospital. Because
Yeah, that was bad, Vernon.
getting upset and worked up, it makes it worse.
And you have other people who, whenever their kids just sniffle,
Yeah.
it's,
Yeah.
oh, emergency room.
Look at Kevin.
Set like
Yeah, look-
5 hours in the emergency
Okay.
room, and they're like, "Oh yeah, it's just
Look
it's
at
fine."
Kevin, he would go set 10 hours for bug bites, and you knew there were bug bites. Well, I just need a paper to say that. No, but that's still why.
You go to MedExpress.
Well, he would even hear though. Why
Yeah.
do that? Like I said,
And even then,
you know, I've been hurt multiple times. If your boat isn't hanging, don't call me and tell me that it's an emergency. If you can control the bleeding and there's no bones hanging out of the skin, it's not an emergency. We'll get to it. Just stay calm. Tell me what's going on, and I'll assess it how, you know, how urgent it is by that. You stay calm.
yeah,
You know, and it's worked for you. You survived.
yeah.
You've made it to 17. You're almost to an adult. I only got a year and a couple more months. You know, you survived. So your sister survived. And
Got 1 year.
I kept the guys alive somehow. We've been through some sketchy stuff, but I kept everybody alive.
Yeah.
Keep bugs out.
Oh, I'm getting bit up. There you go.
No.
Pants on.
I
My
think that's
legs
why-
are getting chewed up.
Yeah, that's why I've been itching too.
Yeah, I'm
We
getting
got
chewed
shorts
up.
on because it's nice out. But
Yeah, well, it's starting to cool off out
yeah,
now.
it is. Them bugs just likes us.
That's why I get nothing done.
I think it's my blood they like. I must have certain blood that they like. What did you do?
Huh?
Oh, you got bug spray.
Yeah, I got some bugs. I'm getting bit up.
That's
Oh, that's cold.
Oh, I don't know if I said this on stream. There's a new car concept. I told you about this. You already know what I'm gonna say.
Which one?
Steer by wire.
I don't like
The one
it.
there's a new Lexus car where the steering wheel, well, it's not even a steering wheel, it's a yoke. There's no column directly connecting it
No
to
shaft.
the wheels, no shaft.
There's no steering shaft.
It's
I don't
just
see
a
how
computerized system. And they said the reason you can use a yoke for the steer by wire is because you no longer need hand over hand, because the vehicle will dynamically adjust or by you to any steering ratio you want at all, high or low.
And I told you what's gonna happen.
And it also has redundancies,
In
but
5 years, people's not gonna maintain the redundancies. They're gonna fail, and you're gonna have people driving around cars that are just barely ready at any time can just quit steering. Because the backup battery's gonna have to be maintained. People's not gonna do that. People can't put new batteries in their car they drive. How many jump starts like every day because people don't put new batteries and stuff?
how many?
A lot.
He's always going down the
So, I
jump
mean, I
start.
deal with the public. I'm telling you, the public is not, especially not now. This might have worked 25 or 30 years ago or older with people. This generation now, no way. They're doomed to drive by.
It's gonna flash, service steering system. It's fine. And then it'll be driving down the turnpike at 80 mile an hour,
Yeah.
about to hit a turn, and then the car doesn't steer at all. They move the wheel and nothing
Well,
happens.
like I
anymore.
said, I think honestly the federal government should have never lifted the shifter restrictions.
Pat Max says, I was sitting in the ER with finger hanging off my shirt wrapped around it, and the stomachs and headaches were going first.
Yeah, see, Pat understands. See, Pat's old school. You understand that. But here's the thing with that steering system. Like I said, it's people aren't smart enough for it. And that's
I mean, it would probably be a really comfortable ride, though.
no, I don't think.
Because they said if you hit a pothole, you know how you hit a pothole in a normal car, the steering wheel shakes a little bit.
No, really. It doesn't.
Well-
Because the car's gonna rattle, but the wheel's gonna shake anyway, because the whole car shakes.
Yeah, they said it can adapt to that actively and dampen the
Okay.
effects on.
Okay,
the
here's
steering
my
wheel.
problem. Like I said, Chrysler in the '60s had push button transmissions. Okay, you push a button on the dash. You want park, reverse.
They have that again now.
Okay, Well, what happened, the federal government said you can't do that. All cars had to have a standardized shifter.
Yeah, we
you know?
had-
Now they don't anymore
I
though.
had a
Well,
car.
why did they lift that law?
I don't know why. 'Cause
That law
I
should have never
see.
been lifted.
You know what? I've seen like brand new 2023 SUVs. There's a little turn wheel
Yeah.
for the shifting. I'm like, what is this?
I loaded a Lexus today, okay? It was a 2020 Lexus. Not only did it have a push button to put it in gear, you had to hold the stupid electric parking brake down while you're on the brake pedal. If you didn't have your seatbelt on, I put it in reverse because I was backing up because it had a flat and I was taking it to the tire shop.
Yeah.
As soon as I put it in reverse, as soon as I hit the gas, it went back into park because I had to put my seatbelt on to move the car.
How did they even get away with that?
Chevy tried to do it, but there was an outcry. The new Silverados were supposed to be that way. You couldn't drive them without your seatbelt on.
I guess because you said it's a Lexus.
Yeah.
I guess since it's
Oh, it
like
was
a
an
luxury.
Acura. It was an Acura.
Oh.
It
Yes.
was cursed with one world America. But the guy was nice about it, you know what I mean? But
Well, I know
I
a
got a
solution to
quick
that.
one.
Isn't there like a thing you can buy that just clicks into the seatbelt that looks like the end of the seatbelt?
yeah.
Just click it in and get around that. I
Yeah.
wonder if it does the same for passengers too. If all passengers have to have it.
Yeah, no.
Oh,
You know what I
just
did
the
the other
driver.
day when I was at the junkyard?
What?
I cut a seatbelt buckle off of a Kia. And now in Amanda's car, I can plug that in there and I ain't got to listen to ding, ding,
Well,
ding every 30
It does
seconds.
that all the time in my mother's car. Whenever I'm driving, I'll just be do 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 do
Oh, yeah.
the whole time. No matter how long you drive for, it'll just keep doing
Well,
it.
Tommy, there was like a year, and your grandmother probably remember, what was it, 73 or 74, remember when new cars, you had to have your seatbelt on, and they wouldn't start, but then everybody threw a fit about it, and then when you took them back to the dealer, and the dealer bypassed it. It had a switch. If your seatbelt wasn't clicked in, the car wouldn't start. And this was the 70s. This is when kids still stood in the front seat and rode in the back window and stuff, so people threw a fit.
Yeah,
Car companies changed it.
they rode in the back without a car seat.
But the Pinto, that was a setup. That's a perfect Storm 10. Pintos didn't blow up, like, you know that.
So I wonder how it would feel to drive that though.
What?
The new Lexus with the steering, because
Mhm.
they said it uses artificial feedback.
Yeah,
Since there's no actual
so it's
actual
gonna,
feedback, it uses an engine
yeah,
to calculate based
Yeah.
on the road surface
Yeah.
and the traction you're getting
yeah.
to give you feedback.
I don't like it. It's gonna be haptic feedback. It's just gonna be like when you drive like a car video game and the steering wheel has feedback. When you run off the road, the steering wheel shakes.
I feel like it would be like that.
And, your game
And they
is
said
gonna-
when your front tires lose traction, it becomes like almost a free wheel.
Yeah, I don't like it.
I wonder how it feels just to drive that down the
I
turnpike.
wonder if it can. I wonder if the computer could compensate for torque steer.
Maybe.
Stupid.
With the air ride suspension and everything, I wonder what it'd feel like.
You know how you.
Unhook the ground wire on seatbelt, under seat, stops dinger.
Yeah, I know. She wouldn't let me cut it on hers. I know.
Well, it's a man, you know how she is with the car.
I know. So I just got a seatbelt buckle put in it. Yeah, I mean, it's nice. She wouldn't let me cut it. I understand, I guess.
I'd have cut mine.
Yeah,
I took
I would
my
have probably
wire.
cut it too. But the seatbelt buckle works good. It don't hurt anything. And she can unplug it. They can still wear their seatbelt in it.
Yeah.
I didn't disable anything. I just got a seatbelt in there.
Yeah.
I gotta find that O2 button here somewhere. I lost it.
What? Huh?
I gotta find that oxygen sensor bung. I have an extra one here because I'm gonna run my wideband. I'm gonna run CO2 sensor bung. I'm gonna run my the Holly wideband in the one, so the Holly works. But then I'm gonna run my AEM wideband. I'm gonna run it the other pipe. That way I can compare the two and see where it's at. And then I can swap them back and forth as it's oil or when it's trimming the fuel a little bit.
I just wonder what it'd feel like to
Oh, there
ride
it
in
is.
that
This is the
car.
bung for this one. So this bung here will go to the wideband and the wideband gauge, and then that one will go to the hauling. And I'll have two oxygen, plus I'll have the redundancy if I have an oxygen sensor go bad, the other one's working, so I can just unplug it and plug it into the other one.
Yeah.
So with all these cars with the air ride suspensions, like supposed to feel like you're riding on a cloud, I wonder how they feel like on Pennsylvania roads. hitting potholes, driving over everything.
You can retrofit an older car to air ride. And tractor trailers and buses have been air rides for decades.
Oh, well, I've been on bumpy roads on a bus. It's not that comfortable.
Because, yeah, well,
You can feel it.
yeah, because it depends on where you ride the bus. But why do these kids not want to have driver's license? What is wrong with these kids?
None of his friends got them.
Do you want to punch them in the face when they tell you stuff like that?
They don't have license. They don't want them.
Well, they should want them.
Well, they don't.
Well, like, what?
No, I say his one friend, Aiden, he will
Well,
get
when
it.
Tommy's out driving around having fun.
But his
you know,
other
They'll
friends-
be asking, hey, can I get a ride? And
Nope.
like, you got gas money?
Yeah, no.
No, I said you should have got your license. We all could have been riding together. Take turns driving.
What is this? I think it's the Turbo 3 video.
Uh,
It's an output shaft. What do you do with the output shaft?
I don't know. What
Ow,
you do with it.
ow, 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 that hurt.
Oh, gee.
I was stepping on it because my flip flop twisted sideways and I was stepping on something in barefoot metal.
Oh, that ain't good.
That's an output shaft for 350 care. Well, I left that shaft in there when I was talking to you. I'm almost positive that's a 350 yoke.
That ain't okay.
7 spawn yoke. It fits the wheel. It's gas. It's a turbo yoke.
Your oil pressure is low.
Huh?
That's the 3. You still remember the talking cars like the little.
Oh,
why you
yeah.
behind the camera, Tommy?
Please fasten
You
your
want to know
seatbelt.
why you're behind the
Yeah,
camera.
why you
What am I gonna do on camera?
Huh?
Do what your dad does.
Yeah.
Sit there and do nothing. Walk around.
Yeah, explain how
Sit
that
there and
computer
talk.
dial works on the.
I don't know how that
Oh.
works.
Explain how I check the blinker fluid.
Yeah.
Oh, the blinker fluid. You have to take off the headlights and look in
Well,
them.
these have sealed beam headlights.
What?
These have sealed beam headlights. See these headlights? You change the whole glass when it goes bad. You change the whole
Yeah.
thing.
The whole thing, yeah.
And the color blinker fluid you buy in there changes the color of your lights too.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Sure it doesn't.
It could. Right, Tommy?
Get
No.
some pink blinker fluid for the pink headlights.
Tommy.
I think you're being silly, Tommy.
Yeah, that's how it works in Auto Mechanic Simulator VR.
Yeah.
See,
silly.
this is how these are old. These are called sealed beam headlights. These are not.
You mean to tell me that's not how it works?
These are sealed beam headlights. The nice thing about this, because you know how on the newer cars, how the headlights, the plastic, and they fade and you can't see good?
Yeah.
These, every time you change your headlight, you're getting a new lens.
You told me to go ask someone for a metric crescent wrench, and I actually did it.
Yeah.
I actually, no, at No Name Nationals, I actually looked for someone and asked them for a metric crescent wrench, and they laughed at me.
Well, there
You
is-
really did that to me.
Tell me there is a metric crescent wrench, though. You see how this is a 10-inch?
But they laughed at me.
Yeah, because they were doing. I've seen these crescent wrenches, though, instead of saying 10-inch like that, being millimeters.
But you still told me to go ask for one. I was like, okay, you guys got a metric crescent wrench, and they're like, who asked you for that?
I can see now.
Who did you ask?
Just some random person I found standing around. They're like, who told you to ask for that? And I was like, my dad. And he's like, they're all metric. It's a crescent wrench. They're all metric.
Yeah, they're all metric or standard. It's adjustable wrench. But did it get a laugh?
Yeah, they laughed.
Okay. See,
I can
that's
see
something.
now.
That's something your generation needs to understand. Sometimes it's okay to laugh at yourself and do stuff and laugh.
Well, I asked Aiden to go ask AutoZone for blinker fluid, and he actually did.
Yeah.
He didn't know. He actually didn't know that blinker fluid wasn't real.
Yeah, he did actually.
Well, like I said, Tommy, I've called already parts stores. I've called auto parts stores and I had the young kid there at the counter looking for a heater core for a Volkswagen Beetle, you know what I mean, for an air-cooled motor. Or looking for a radiator hose or a water pump. They're like, yeah, man, what's up? I need a water pump for a 62 Volkswagen Beetle. Yeah. Yeah, 1.5, yeah. Would you need a water pump? I need a water pump for that. Sir, I'm showing that's an air core. I got a water pump on this thing. And they just get them, or I need a heater core, or heater hoses, because it's an air cooled, there's not going to be no cooling system. Or a Corvair, I need a heater core for a Chevy Corvair.
Mhm.
You can find them, because that's the kid that you go in and get a set of wiper blade, and he doesn't know. A good parts monkey will know that the blades are pretty much gonna be the same, so he'll just enter in. He won't ask you the dumb questions. He just fills them in for you. because
What
he
dumb
knows it doesn't
questions
matter.
are there that
Like, hey, I need a set of windshield wipers for an '88 Chevy pickup truck. You know, and the guy would be like, yeah, is that a 2 or 4-wheel drive? Is that the 5.7 or the 5.0 engine? You know what I mean? You know, what's the gross weight on that? You know what I mean? And them ones were different. Now, after '97, Ford did make 2 different trucks: a Super Duty at the half, so the half ton and the 3/4 ton and up were different trucks. You know, these little wipers could have been different. Chevy used the same body up till recently, but you know, and Dodge did too. Ford had 2 different cabs that they had that, you know, half ton, and then they had that 3/4 ton. The Super Duties were different. But you know, I mean, a good parts guy won't ask you that dumb stuff because he knows it's irrelevant. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
What month was it made? Ford's good for that. You got to go out and look for what date it was manufactured because they changed something halfway through the year. I had a Ford Escort. You'd have to go in there. You'd have to know when it was made, what month it was made, so they could give you the right part. Well, mine was made in March of '84. Okay, okay. So it was made, you know, after March of '84, but before August of that year. Then it takes this part. If it's from August to this, then it takes that. You know,
Why?
because Ford.
Why?
Because Ford.
Go Ford tough, I guess.
I like Ford, like I said, in my opinion, you know, that's how I feel. Ford. The last Ford truck rolled off the assembly line in 1997.
Yeah, Ford's good for the months, Dwayne says.
Yeah.
I'd rather have a Chevy.
Yeah.
2023 Silverado 3500 HD High Country
Yeah.
with
Not a bad
all
way.
the
Not a bad way to spend 90 grand.
more like 100 with the
Yeah.
diesel
Uh,
Cummins.
I was worried. I was gonna. If you would have said Dodge, I was gonna send you to an all-girl school though, till you come back.
What's wrong with the Dodge? I mean, the transmission goes out, but other than that,
You get second-hand electrical problems, and you drive around long enough in the Dodge, you'll start being attracted to guys and not women.
the
It's just
transmission.
in Dodge truck. Don't get me wrong. Now Mopar's different. Where I just offended half the people that watch me. I wasn't talking about the old Mopar hot rod stuff. I was talking about the new Dodge stuff, the Stellantis years and the Daimler Benz years. I wasn't talking about the old American
Oh,
stuff.
the old Dodgers.
No.
One-eyed cat says evening salmon chat.
What's happening, Dawn? Thanks for popping in, bud. Yeah, we just randomly went off the rails here, and I just about almost offended all my viewers. I wasn't talking about the old Mopar stuff.
No, never.
No, we were
Because
talking
the old
about,
stuff's good.
we were talking about modern stuff.
I wonder how long the state police are going to have their chargers before the transmissions start falling out.
I don't know. Well, the
Well,
transmissions
they're
have
getting
gotten better.
better
They started
electric.
using that Aisin
Okay.
transmissions. The transmissions.
Because I thought you said it was the idling that killed the Hemis.
it kills the Hemi. That's the motor, not the transmission.
Yeah, but the motor and the transmission.
You know what? Those aren't transmission. Transmission just go out because. Look at Tad's transmission went out. That truck had like 14,000 miles on it and never towed anything. Ever in a side by side, the transmission went out. And the Ram 20. But that's a beautiful truck. Heated steering wheel, leather seat.
Oh, yeah.
You rode Tad's truck. That's a beautiful truck.
Yeah.
See, the problem with the Hemi,
The automatic emergency
Yeah.
braking.
the 5.9 Hemi, the problem is
Yeah.
where the cam right in the block where it rides, it doesn't get enough oil either flung off the crankshaft at low RPM, and when the cam runs out of the heads or off, from the lifters and stuff, it misses the cam, and they don't oil good. So anything that spends a lot of time idling, you get
Cop
premature
car.
cam wear. Anything run normal down the highway don't have that problem. They're good motors, but, ones that spend hours idling.
No.
They'll wipe the cams out, change cam and lifters. At least it's not like cam and lifters in a 6.0 Ford where you got to take the motor out because the cam got to come out the back of the block. Kind of like the Explorer, the 4.0 Explorer, that timing chains in the back between the bell housing and the behind the flywheel, and then
Not like
timing
that
cover.
one earlier.
that's where you put the timing chain.
Why they do that?
Ford. I don't like like I said, I like Ford motors up to the modular motor, like the 5 liter Ford, the old 460, even 351 Cleveland, 429. All them were good motors, but I don't like the 4.6 and the 5.4. And them V10s, why Dwayne has good luck, and you see Dwayne's truck ran good. We took it to Sykeston.
Yeah.
Dwayne has good luck with his truck, and the F550s we got up at Joby's.
Yeah.
The motor, the 150,000 motors, and then V10s
Someone
are
said,
soft.
not in chat, but someone said before with those Triton V10s, you're supposed to run higher octane,
Yeah, they pay.
not
Well,
regular
certain years you
87.
can. The earlier ones you can, but as the later ones, I know my 2016 I drive at work. If I run 87 in it, I can hear it pinging. I run 93 in it.
Yeah.
But it runs good, but them motors are wore out at 150,000 miles in the big trucks. It fit now.
They don't make them like they used to.
You know, they're F550s, that's why.
They don't make any vehicle like
They weigh
used to.
15,000 pounds empty.
Dwayne says, I think it was just taken care of.
Yeah, but even high miles though, our tow trucks don't live in miles. That one tow truck they got's got like 200,000 miles, and Billy said today it's got like 2 or 3 motors in it already. Brand new motor. No, these are
Wow.
new crate motors they're putting in it, not used motors.
Hmm.
And it's due for a motor again.
Wow.
Cause he's like, I thought your truck was gonna be the next one to go. Cause the one I drive got 130,000 on. I was like, my truck don't even use oil between the oil changes. I put 15,000 miles on that truck.
Yeah, it's just the way people are driving it.
I don't run hard. You know that, Tommy? That's how many miles
Dwayne
I've
says,
towed.
yeah, I'm almost 200.
That's how many miles I've towed the past couple of months. I put 15,000 miles on that 2016.
Wow.
Dwayne says, yeah, I'm almost at 200.
Yeah. Well, my truck at work has 130 on it.
Wow.
And it rides good, but like I said, I put 15 in it. It had 115 on it when I started running that truck. But I'm the only one that runs that truck.
Is 170 a lot for an 07 car?
Huh?
Is 170 a lot for an 07
No.
car? That's how
No.
much my grandmother's car is on
Yeah.
it.
No, it's not anymore. 300,000 is normal for most modern vehicles anymore, Tommy.
Really?
Yeah, really. Now these old carbureted cars, which were good, but you know, growing up, a car, someone would say, you go look at a car, this car's been rolled over 100,000 miles. Everybody said, well, it's shot.
Yeah.
Because the cars didn't last like that. Because when you're coasting down a hill and your throttle's shut, okay, in a fuel injected car, the computer turns the injectors off. So even though the compression of the motor still hold the car back, well, you know, you're geared down going down the hill, there's no fuel going there. In a carbureted car, even though the injector, because there's vacuum, it's pulling that fuel. That fuel goes in there, knocks the oil off the cylinder walls, the cylinder walls burn. That's why you could take like a carbureted motor, tear it apart at 50,000 miles, and it'll have a ridge worn on the top of the cylinder where the piston's been riding up and down. And you can take a fuel injected motor apart, it's got 300,000 on it, the cylinders will still have the crosshatch in them. That's part of the reason it's to do with the full fuel being pulled through a carburetor even when you're coasting. And a fuel injector, you're not washing the cylinder walls out. Plus, older cars were turning higher RPM, you know, going down the highway. Modern cars have overdrive. Modern cars are only turning 1,500, 1,800 RPM at 65, 70 miles an hour down the highway. So the motor's just a little bit above an idle. It's a fast idle for hours. And they always said highway miles, if a think of highway miles is half of what city miles. So a car with 50,000 miles on it, driven like around here, not really on the highway much, is going to have as much wear as a car driven on the interstate for probably, 100,000, probably more. So it's just because they're in a steady state. And the transmissions will last longer. Just think about that. If you're here, automatic transmission, you're always coming to a stop, so it's downshifted. Pull back out, it's shifting up 30 gears. You get it on, if you're all highway all the time, your car's always in drive or overdrive, so you're not constantly, so the gears don't wear out. So an automatic transmission that's been driven around town it might be wore out at 100,000 miles, or the automatic transmission that's been on the highway will go 400,000 miles and still shift fine. There's a lot of variables required, but you did good tonight with Jedi. You did exactly what I told you to do. That balance point. You understand that now? That you tweak that balance point now. Okay? If you gotta give it more gas, it shows out you can either get more into that balance point, that'll let the motor be able to rev higher while still holding the car, or you can let out of that balance point just that, thousandth of an inch. It don't take much, just that little bit either one way or the other. Once you know that tipping point, you drive a stick. That's all you needed to know, and you got it instantly. Which I knew you could because you let clutches out before. But that's it.
I just need to let off the gas when I'm
when
shifting.
you can set their level, that's it. People always try to. They get people worked up when you're teaching how to drive a stick. But honestly, the best way to teach them is let them get on a level road like that, on a level parking lot or driveway or whatever, and let them practice letting that clutch out so slowly that they don't have to give it gas. That they can let it out, and let the car start to roll forward. Push clutch in, put it in reverse, let it out.
How'd you say you could start it by pushing it down a hill and popping the clutch?
When you're rolling down a hill, say you're going 10, 15 miles an hour, you can put the car in second gear, hold the clutch in, turn the ignition on, you know what I mean? Let the clutch out. Just let the clutch out like you're pulling out, feather the clutch out. As soon as the clutch comes out, it's going to couple, and the wheels are going to turn the motor over, just like the starter. Boom, it'll fire right up.
Huh.
I went and did a jump start the other day. Guy had a 62 Porsche. Nice car. 912. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Flat six. He was setting the gas pumps. The battery wasn't completely dead. He'd had juice, but it didn't have enough to crank the motor over. He paid cash. I drove out $50 to jump start his car. I'm thinking he could have just pushed that car and popped the clutch with it. Because a 62 Porsche, it might as well be a Volkswagen.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? It's so much in common with an air-cooled Volkswagen. It was a beautiful car, but he could have pushed that himself and popped it in gear. Got two guys at Sheets. There was people working there. All they needed someone just to give him a shove and dump it in second gear with it fired right up. He didn't think, you know what I mean? That's the nice thing about a mandatory. I had this Chevy pickup, Dwayne, remember? I'd go for weeks at a time without a starter even in it. The starter would break. I lived on top of a hill. I didn't need a starter. I'd go to work. I'd park on top of a hill at work. Turn the key on, start rolling down, pop the clutch, fire truck up and go. Anywhere you go, make sure you parked on a hill. That way you can catch it in gear. That's something nice about a manual. Like I said, there's certain automatics that you can't catch, like the old old torque flights have a rear pump. The rear drive pump. You can catch those in gear, and there's some power glides and some GM trainings that would catch in gear.
Hippie Miller says, I taught my kid to drive clutch in 4x4 in low range so it didn't kill my clutch.
Yeah, I had Tommy doing that years ago. He was like, probably 10. He was probably about 6 or so. He about ran me over because he was in a Samurai and it had a 4-to-1 low range. And it was in low gear, and I was out front unhooking something. I was pulling something, and I had a strap wrapped around the stinger bar between it and my trailer. I was standing between my trailer and the stinger, and he hits the clutch. Well, it instantly started because off-road buggy, we bypassed the clutch safety switch. So as soon as you bumped the key, it started up, took off forward because it would start in gear because it was geared so low. 4-to-1, you could just crank it in gear to go. You know what I mean? I've used that starter to pull cars up on a trailer, stick shifts. Crank them, put them in low gear, turn the starter. If it's in gear, the starter will pull it right up on a trailer. That's how I taught them too, though, with that range. Another thing is quads and four-wheelers. I always explain to them. They learn how to feather it with their hand. If you can feather it with your hand, you can feather it with your foot. They're different.
You can do that, Tommy. You did really good tonight.
Yeah.
You did. You did good job, Miss.
I didn't let out the gas when I was shifting.
No, you did.
And I
really
stalled
good.
it on a hill.
You did good though when you backed up.
Yeah, he was like the gas. When he went upshift, he was power shifting.
Oh, you was trying to power shift.
Yeah, I was trying to power shift it.
Oh, power shifting, huh?
Yeah,
You got that heavy foot too.
I do.
You do, Tommy. You really do got a heavy foot.
Wait till we learn to sidestep the clutch.
Oh yeah, Tommy. Wait till
What's
you do
that?
that.
What's that? What? When you sidestep
Turn
the
your foot
clutch?
sideways.
Basically, Tommy, you get in your car, right?
Yeah.
Let's say you're sitting in the parking lot with the wheels straight, or you're sitting on a back in Mexico somewhere, right?
Yeah.
Get your foot on the clutch. You know, work your foot over to where your toes just on the edge of the clutch pedal. You know, but you're still holding at the floor, but you just got, you know, your
Heel your foot.
the big toe. No, just
No,
the big
big
toe. Okay. And then you're gonna take this foot and it's gonna go on the rev limiter, and then you just kick and let the clutch pedal fall. And it starts swinging. You dump it. You sidestep the clutch.
But I put it on to keep the bugs from.
I used to always show them guys they could believe how to power brake a stick. You just turn this foot sideways, put your heel on the brake pedal,
One on the clutch.
use your
the
toe
other
to
hand on
gas
the
it, and your left foot out. Once you get the clutch out, then you can bring your clutch foot over and hold the brake with it. You can sit there and just power brake a stick once you get it spinning.
That's what I was talking
I used to do that all the time at Chevy pickup. I'd power brake. Here's power brake a stick. You gotta be coordinated.
You think you could do it?
I think you could do it because
How do you panic stop in a stick?
Huh?
How do you panic stop in a stick?
Clutch and brake. It'll come natural. You won't even think of Tommy. You see, I don't even think about it. You just get in, it just does it. Your brain does it. Just like riding a bicycle.
Yeah.
You understand that tipping point. From that point on, you'll be fine. What time is it? We got what?
It is 21:31.
Oh, we're about time to wrap it up, man. We've been on here for 2 hours.
Yeah.
All right, guys. Well, I got a little bit fitted. I stood here and talked, but I did get my turbo place finalized. Tommy did come out. So the weather's getting nice, so we're gonna start getting some work done here. I did get the truck fired up. I can get the trailer out and get it fixed because I really need my truck and trailer. I gotta haul some stuff. So I want to thank everybody for tuning in tonight. Thanks Dakota for talking, explaining it. Thanks popping in, buddy. You know, John Wilbert for stopping. Shane Polito for stopping. Pat Max, Hippie Miller.
One-eyed cat.
Yeah,
Blaine Schultz.
Schultz.
Everybody.
The other guy, the
Whoever.
John Millworm.
Whoever stopped
Everybody was here. Thanks a lot, man. We appreciate it. Everything you guys do. We couldn't do this if it wasn't for a couple of you guys taking a Thursday night and wasting it with us. So
Have a good one.
thanks a lot, everybody. Have a good night. And remember, guys, always, and it's the truth. You can sleep in your car, but you can't race your house. And that's the truth. So we'll see you next week. Good night, everybody.